Hi, I'm Paul Tomes, founder of Tributes 2, and I help funeral directors master big business thinking and technology to help improve the experience of their client families, their staff, increase their income, and importantly, protect their legacy. Thanks for choosing to come back. I'm thrilled at the buzz the first video created. And thanks for your emails. They are taking me a while to respond to, so if you haven't got a reply yet, please do keep an eye on your inbox. I will be writing back in the next day or so. Now, actually seeing and hearing the challenges you face and the benefits some of you are already experiencing motivates me even further. I'm encouraged by how many people found this valuable, and I can start to see and feel your excitement. I can also sense there may be a little nervousness, maybe some doubt and questioning on how this all fits into what you're doing today. You might be wondering whether you really need to worry about this or bother with all of this stuff. So let's remember, we're working to ensure that from the very first time someone encounters your business, you're seen and felt as the very best funeral director in your community. Your clients, current and future, feel consistent, professional, compassionate, family focused. Whether they're sat at their office desk or driving past your premises. And one of the things I'm hearing is, this isn't relevant to me. This isn't relevant to the funeral business. Or this isn't relevant to our little town. We're different. Well, I've got to tell you, it is relevant. You know only too well that as an independent funeral director, our professional goal is and always will be to provide a comprehensive and compassionate customer services to those in our community who call upon us in the darkest moments of their lives. Our business goal is to earn a living, provide for our staff, and maintain a sustainable legacy for our next generation. These goals haven't changed, and they're not mutually exclusive. They're not going anywhere. So if our goals remain the same, then what is changing? Your someone and your staff probably remember the days when it was simple enough to provide 24-hour service, ample parking, a well-maintained funeral home, and a shiny up-to-date vehicle fleet. Now, while those things are still critically important, the expectations of our client families are changing. And today, people are demanding significantly more from us. Now, think about the changes in your own community. Think back to the days when you knew your neighbours, where you could leave your doors unlocked, where milk was delivered to your door every day, and you wouldn't ever worry about the kids walking the streets alone. People talked to each other. We'd stop each other on the street to say hello, and we'd find out the latest gossip. We'd wait to get home to read the local newspaper or watch the TV for all the news. Samantha Fox was in the Sun. We'd even use the yellow pages and look forward to the next updated tome arriving in 6 months' time. I can even remember my dad excitedly showing me his first pager back in the early 1980s, and proudly telling me that if I called a certain number, left a message, and assuming he was within a 1-mile radius, he would get that message within 30 minutes, and then if he could find a payphone, he could give me a call back. Well, today you can find the same pager on display in the Science Museum, alongside my ZX Spectrum and even my first Ericsson mobile phone. It's quite amazing to think that today's youth have never seen an audio cassette, a video cassette for that matter, a telephone with a wire, and for anybody with teenage kids, they prefer to text and email each other rather than speak, even if they're in the same room. But today's community is different. Today's community doesn't communicate the same way we used to. Whether we like it or not, behaviours in our community have changed. Word of mouth today means Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, BBM, Google+, and YouTube. Okay, so maybe you're still saying, yeah, I've got that, but that only applies to the youth and definitely doesn't apply to something as sensitive as funeral planning. Think again. Here's a graph directly from Google. This shows the relative popularity of a search term, i.e. the words people are typing into the Google search box. This rising line shows this particular term is being used more over time relative to other searches. So what is the search term we're looking at here? Funeral directors. Take a look. More and more people are using this search engine to find funeral directors. It's not that more people are looking for you, but more people are using the internet to find you rather than traditional methods. And when or if they find you, you want to make sure that the impression is as good as if they walked through your funeral home door, if not better. Okay, so rather than just trends, let's talk about numbers. How many times do you think people typed the words funeral directors into Google last month? 110,000. That's over 3,000 a day. And that's just in 1 month, and just in the UK. Oh, and that doesn't even include the 12,000 searches for funeral directors on mobile phones last month. It kind of boggles me to think of someone looking for a funeral director on their mobile phone, but I'd be foolish to ignore this data. We've got to respond to this trend. Recall our goal as funeral directors, providing comprehensive and compassionate customer service to those in our community who call upon us in the darkest moments of their lives. Now, if our community's behaviour is changing and they're demanding a new way to call upon us, isn't it our responsibility to respond? Of course it is, especially if we want to safeguard our business and legacy for the longer term. One thing you might still be saying is, yeah, but we're still different. And if you're there, go ask your families. How did they find you? Naturally, there would be word of mouth and returning families. But I think you'll be surprised, like my dad, at how many people started on the internet. And surprisingly, even if they've used your services before. Now, the other concern I want to take on at this time is one that my dad voiced about 6 months ago. He said to me, yeah, Paul, I get it. I totally get it. He was even the person that warned me the world was changing when the milkmen stopped working on our street. But 6 months ago, he said, yep, this all sounds good, but too difficult and complicated. I'm a funeral director. I wouldn't know where to start, and I haven't got £2,000 to spare. Well, let me start by saying that my dad is like a changed man now. He's even teaching me how to do things on his iPad, or the iDad, as my brothers and I call it. And you'll be there as quick, if not quicker. You're going to benefit from the lessons we learn. And if you take advantage of the resources and the advice available, it's going to cost you much less than you think. As a reference, Harry Tome's complete online infrastructure costs them less than what you are probably paying for your mobile phone each month. Okay, you've already done step 1, you've maybe even started step 2, and by the time I lead you through steps 3, 4, 5 and 6, you'll realise just how much you can do for yourself. I'm going to show you little tips and tricks you can easily do that an internet consultant will charge for £200, like Keith did. Even as soon as step 3, I know you'll be feeling proud of yourself, and you should be. As well as delivering on your day-to-day duties, you're now building an asset that will improve the experience for your client families, your staff, and for future generations. You might even be thinking, you wish you did it sooner. But don't worry, the most important thing is you've already started. You've invested time to experience how clients come across your firm. You've explored how people may find or happen upon you online. You've searched for your company. You've searched for funeral directors in your town. You looked at your local newspaper website. You probably found more references to your business on the internet than you first thought. Am I right? So by now you should have a comprehensive list of all the places and all the pages where your business appears online. And why do you care? because every one of those places leaves an impression. It's impossible to know which one your next client will come across first. And in exactly the same way, big business have massive PR and branding engines to ensure customer experience consistency. You need to do the same for your business. And the great thing is, you don't need a big PR firm or budget to do that. So let me tell you one very quick thing you can do to improve your image today. Fix your email address. My dad used to cringe every time someone asked for his email address, and he'd give out adtomes51@hotmail.com. Firstly, he hated to give out his personal email for business, but he had to. People were asking for it. And then he also reflected that a Hotmail address just doesn't project the professional, long-term, established firm of Harry Tomes Limited. Actually, his brother, my uncle, had a BT Internet email address, so it didn't even look like they worked for the same company. And whilst the Hotmail address is free, and it's yours to keep forever, my uncle found himself tied to BT Internet service, because if he ever cancelled, he would lose this email address that was printed on his business card. Well, within less than 30 minutes work, and for £7 or thereabouts, you can do what my dad did and get an email address at yourbusiness.com. My dad now proudly hands out freshly printed business cards. And even better than his old pager, I can now email him and it appears instantly on his iPhone, his iPad, his iDad, and his email inbox. Importantly, no email gets lost as well. It doesn't get jumbled up with all the spam he used to get in his Hotmail inbox. So as you move through step 2, do make sure you fix your company's email address. And before you go and find a consultant to do this for you, I'll send you a little video that shows you exactly how you can get your business email for free from the largest email provider on the planet. All you need is a domain name, like yourbusiness.co.uk or yourbusiness.com, and I'll even show you how you can get one of those for less than a tenner. Okay, so back to the list of sites and the pages you've found in step 1. Now step 2. You simply go through the list one by one and fix them so that they portray you as you'd expect. Here's what you do for each one. Our first and preferred options would be you get it changed as you want it to be. Now, you simply do this by asking the service provider or the website owner to change it. Send them your correct contact details, as well as links to images and the logo that you'd like displayed next to your profile. You must be very explicit about what you want to be shown and what you'd like them to change or remove. Also ensure that they include a link to your website, or if your website isn't ready, to your Google Places page, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. If the provider isn't willing or is not able to portray your business as you'd prefer, then our second option is to ask them to minimize the information online. The important thing to retain is your telephone number, email address, and links to where you want to be seen as you want to be seen. Now, if those two options fail, as a last resort, and if they're unwilling to do that, ask them to remove the result. In the case of obituaries on the newspaper website, if another funeral director or another company that doesn't align with your image is using that space to advertise, it's worth remembering that your business is more than likely one of the paper's oldest and most established customers. So don't be afraid to give them a call and tell them that you don't feel comfortable. So, Google Places. I mentioned this earlier, and the good news is, whether you know it or not, you already have a Google Places site. These sites are now the authority for Google. So go claim it to give yourself full control over the information that's displayed on your page. And if you don't, anyone, and I mean anyone, can edit your information. If you followed the comments from the last video, you might have done this already. It's a 5-minute job, and I'll send you a little video on how to do it. It's a great tool, and it's free. It's basically your yellow pages of today, and definitely the yellow pages of the future. Okay, we've covered a lot today already, but before I go, I thought it would be helpful to share some of the high-level feedback that I gave to people who emailed me and asked to review their website. If you have a website and are reviewing it as part of steps 1 and 2, make sure you consider the following. Is it accessible on the devices people are using today? Your site probably looks as you'd expect when you're viewing it on your own computer, but how does it look on a Mac or a smartphone or a tablet, or even in a different web browser like Firefox or Chrome? If you built the site yourself, watch out for the advertising links or malicious code in the themes and plugins you may have downloaded. Remember from last week, nothing is completely free. Make sure you're not using Flash. If you use Flash, then you're isolating those 12,000 monthly mobile searches, and you may not even comply with accessibility guidelines. Make sure your site is complete. You really should have basic content and functionality. And most important of all, remember search engines love fresh, current and relevant content. When was the last change or when was the last piece of content added to your site? Now, ideally, your site should be updated daily. Now, I am going to talk about the way you can do that with zero effort and zero cost. For those of you that don't have a site yet, don't worry. It's not difficult or expensive to build one these days. Gone are the days when you needed to hire a developer or reserve a big budget. Nowadays, you don't need to be a big business like Dignity or Co-op to project an established professional business online. Nowadays, you can do this yourself without being a technical person, and for less than my dad's pager cost all those years ago. Drop me an email if you're interested in learning more on this. If there's enough demand, I'll put together an online seminar. So before next week, complete step 2. Watch out for the 2 videos on securing your business email address and claiming your Google Places page. And if you have a website, especially if you haven't looked at it for a while, go back and see how it shapes up. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and again, I hope it added value. Please go ahead and enter your questions and comments below so I can keep in touch with you. I'll continue to personally reply to as many as I can. I look forward to continually serving you. Watch your inbox for the next video next week at the same time. Until then, cherish your heritage, embrace the future, and take a step forward today.